Hi, and welcome once again to What's the Damage, companion show to the incredibly well-known and popular real play D&D show Roll for Damage, now available for only 3 easy payments of $29.99. So our heroes weren't quite out of the jungle yet. When we last checked on them, they were feeling a little bit less grumpy, but no less confused as they bandied about a few theories about what the heck is going on. It does still remain a mystery, but they may be getting a little bit closer to the answers they seek as they venture deeper into the mysteriously frost touched jungle. It's real cold for some reason. Um, Unfortunately, danger lurks around every corner, as always, and friend turned against friend as they fought both some tough enemies and some mysterious whisperings within their own minds, twisting their thoughts and feelings against each other. It was very dramatic. Oriana went down hard in the heat of battle, and it remains to be seen if she'll stay down this time. We'll be pondering all that and then discussing the wild world of feats today, starting very shortly. As always, stick around after the stream for things to think about, organizations to support, and great places to send your money. I'm your host, Truth Venson, and this is What's the Damage? Welcome back. Joining me today, I have two familiar faces. We've got Tick, who plays Sinric, the recent murderer, and we've
It wasn't
got
that much of a murder. It's more of a slaughter.
okay, okay, point taken. We've got Jay, who plays Campion, who didn't kill anyone. Okay, awesome. How are you guys doing? Some stuff happened last game. A bit of a brutal jungle crawl. What is the damage?
I mean, a lot.
What is not the damage? That
Yeah,
should be the
yeah.
question, Truth. Okay.
I just want to go on the record and say I'm not a dog killer, so we're good.
You killed my dog, man.
Oh, you're right. That would have been unforgivable. We would have had to retire Sinric.
Yeah,
He
man.
wouldn't
No.
have played well with audiences if you
This
killed Greybone.
man,
Again,
Greybone is the mascot. It's
Oh,
the little
Greybone.
puppy that keeps trucking.
Little puppy that could.
Yes. Oh man. No, dude, it was stressful, man. Just just having to deal with situation after situation, man. Um, yeah, we thought like, hey, we thought, we'd be going into, like a dungeon call. We would have like time to prepare. But then,
Mhm.
unbeknownst to us,
We were already in the dungeon crawl. The forest was a dungeon the entire time.
it was a dungeon of nature.
exactly, just without walls. Yeah, that makes
I
sense.
mean,
That makes sense.
you don't have to be in a dungeon to have a dungeon crawl.
Yeah, exactly, exactly.
It
And
was
dungeon crawl's
fun
more of a
because
vibe, you know?
yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah. The dungeon vibe.
It was fun because I think this was in an entire year the first time we really went up against like a mental opponent and not like a physical opponent.
Well, there was that brain in the jar.
Yeah, I think that was more for fun though.
Yeah.
I mean, that wasn't like, at the end of the day, that wasn't like a giant threat.
Yeah, like a huge fucking thing, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it was fun. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. But yeah, I think this was our real like serious potential TPK like mental opponent, like non-physical.
It was shooting lightning, but you know.
Yeah.
Oh, what's a little lightning? Yeah, it was a little bit of a change of pace, though. Actually, let's jump in there then. So you were both affected, in slightly different ways by the
Only slightly.
By the weird brain waves going around. Campion had a couple weird theories about that. Yeah, but Cynric, I wanted to start with you because you were actually hearing voices. You were hearing this strange voice telling you to take control and just weird stuff. Even after your bloodlust had dropped. So I kind of wanted to ask, like, what does that mean to Cynric?
Right now, I don't know because the battle technically hasn't really stopped. It just like literally we stopped battle and then like ended sessions, so it hasn't really caught up yet. But at the forefront, I can honestly say I'm probably not going to think about it right now because we have someone that met a bad end. So that'll probably be second on the list of things to do as soon as we come back in.
Yeah, you'll have more pressing things to deal with next game on Friday. Tune in.
But as far as the voices, I'm sure it'll catch up. And he's not a person that really deals with his emotions to begin with. So, it's one of those where that's, coming back to the forefront and going to have to start dealing with that.
Yeah.
Or else, might be more fun and more murdery down the road. You never know.
TPK accepted Cynric. If anyone could. So actually, yeah, is Cynric someone who is accustomed to like the sanctity of his own mind? Has he dealt with things like this before? I know he's had rage problems in the past, which reminded him of what was happening right now. But has he ever had like that sense of somebody really fucking with his brain?
No, he was a person that was trained to react to a situation and be able to separate the emotion from that. It's a soldier lifestyle. So, you kind of have that reaction to pull your emotional response away and deal with the situation at hand. And I took it to an extreme with the character after that incident to a point where not wanting to process or deal with that emotion at all, whether it be good or bad.
As befits the character. Awesome. So Campion also had a bit of a weird moment in there where everything was dangerous and out to get him all at once, even Greybone. What was playing that like? Because that is kind of a jarring thing to have happen in the middle of a battle.
Yeah, man. I was like, oh shit. When Spready was like, oh yeah, enemies, everyone's an enemy, and I was like, wait, even my own dog? Even my own dog? And it's like, yeah, Greybone's even the most worst enemy because he knows all your secrets. You know? But yeah, no, it was scary. Because Campion can very much be dangerous. He's kind of like the second DPS in a sense. And so I was very glad I did not shoot anybody in the face. Because if Campion would have killed somebody, he would have not been able to handle that. Personally. Would have a complete shutdown, man. He'd be like, it's like what? But yeah, man, I was making them rolls, man. Dice gods were on my side in that moment. So, I give my thanks to them. I know.
Yeah, well, yeah.
You know what, Jay? I think the dice gods are coming around to you. They've seen how you suffered. You've proven yourself. Knock on wood. Oh, knock on wood.
See, the dice are just, telling the story that, we don't.
We don't
So
expect.
it works out. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's the element of chance.
Oh.
It makes sense. I mean, why wouldn't you attack the biggest thing in the room? The dice follow through with that. I'm not very wise, so I fail every wisdom save. I mean, it's perfect.
Goes pretty well. Okay, awesome. We're gonna backtrack a little bit to the beginning of the episode. We'll come back to the battle because it was very big and important. But so there was some discussion right at the top half of the episode about what the heck's going on, why these dots, what's happening with the Oshiden. I was wondering like what because Cedric was chiming in. I don't think Campion was super big in that discussion. What did you guys think about some of the theories that are getting tossed around?
Um.
I like the craziness of him
Yeah.
as a person.
I mean, Oriana's whole like theory was about there can only be so many coincidences until you
Mhm.
start drawing lines. But I mean, the thing is I feel like yeah, there might be under all of the bullshit there might be an underlining connection. But I feel like we were really pulling at straws there. I know how Serenity like partially thinks like just a little bit under the crust of the madness. Um, and I have no fucking idea what is going on now, and it's scaring the shit out of me. Fucking the babies, fucking this shit. Okay, what is going on, Serenity? You gotta tell me. Okay, I can't sleep.
Uh, mercy on Jay.
Yeah.
It's like
Note
fuck,
to
man.
self: don't stand next to me.
Don't die, okay? That's the thing, man. I'm keeping Greyboat away from you, dude. I'm keeping Greyboat away from you.
Oh, it's okay. We can't kill the dog
Exactly.
legally. Legally, we cannot kill the dog.
She could bring it back. I mean,
Yeah,
True,
but
it
like,
is an immortal dog.
true, man. But it's just like, it's nerve wracking, and then also like, man, I burned through like all my spells, dude. I was like, oh
Mhm.
shit, dude. I
I
was
mean,
like,
it was a dungeon crawl. I think all of us burned through almost everything during that fight.
yeah, shit. Even you with the fucking rages, dude.
Yeah, you ran out.
I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I tried to do that a little bit on purpose, considering the rage almost was in my head like a trigger. So I figure, okay, if there's no rages left to burn, what can be a trigger?
Yeah.
And well, I was wrong. So
You're wrong. You're assuming. You're assuming fucking Serenity
Wasn't
would
it sort of a
think.
trigger though? It's just like not the main thing.
Well, I think it's like it's not a trigger. It's more of a like inhibition or whatever. Like if you're to introduce like alcohol to like an alcoholic, right? Like it just accentuates the shit that's already there, and then this whole mental fucked up shit, it's always gonna it was already like it was affecting fucking Perry, dude. And I think
Mhm.
she has
what
the
affected
highest. Doesn't she have the
Quinn
highest
as
wisdom?
well. Yeah,
Yeah, and Quinn.
Yeah,
And
I
Quinn,
think
yeah.
so.
and
Yeah.
also Oriana. But
Exactly.
they failed their save against that guy in the village.
Oh,
So
true.
they actually had the effect of the calmingness,
Yeah,
but
exactly.
Perry not so lucky.
Yeah, but I mean, honestly, I feel like from what I was thinking, I think that like uh, if they didn't at a very serious outcome, I would have personally seen that if they didn't get the calm, like the anger would have stacked on to the point, yeah, it would have stacked on, and then there would have been a very very serious possibility that we would have had to fight Perry, Quinn, and fucking Oriana, and then Cindric, he's a wild card. Then it would just be fucking me and Boltaim, and then you know,
Just like Dimension Door out of there, you're
this
okay.
is like,
Yeah,
yo,
just
what the
leave them.
Yeah.
Be like, bye.
so so yeah, man. I mean, there was that always like underlining fear
Rats.
of
Yeah.
stress, dude. I was like, yeah, this is gonna be some bull.
Mhm.
I was more curious as to how the other the encounters during the crawl
Mhm.
were going because everyone didn't seem to be bickering amongst themselves on the enemy side, but rather working as like a cohesive unit.
Well, I
So
think they were already
and that made me
brainwashed.
curious.
It was like
Yeah,
they were
but
they were already in it. They're like being puppets. To me, they were meat puppets.
yeah, but when we were under the effects, I mean, we were still like attacking each other, but we
Yeah,
were never at a point where
but
it was
understand. Remember that point
multiples of
where you
us.
started to hear the voice in your
Cindric
head?
was getting
Yeah,
directions.
you were
Yeah,
getting directions. You were getting told to kill Oriana. It was like, oh, kill whoever. It was Oriana because at that moment, or they deemed Oriana a threat. And straight up, yeah,
pretty
exactly.
sure it was just because she was next to me and not a threat. Yeah, I mean, I'm
Maybe, maybe
like I said, it
not.
was one of those where it's like, oh, you're right there. Okay,
Yeah,
there you go.
but understand. Unlike last time, remember when you went to the rage and it was the Hydra, you were fucking rolling, fucking, who to attack. Yeah, you weren't doing that. So I feel like this was to a point where it was more focal, like it was like blinders. They were kind of pointing you in directions instead of you
But
being wild and
it
everything. So that's
wasn't
why it's
also like a blinding rage this time either.
yeah, no, it was
So
it was
that it
focused.
was much different.
Yeah, it was focused, and I feel like in their point, it was the same with them. They already came to a point where they were already in long exposure to whatever fucking brain waves, what the fuck was going on, to where they
It,
were just marionettes and shit.
it was
You know?
almost as if this was a magical ability, whereas
Yeah,
the one before wasn't.
exactly. There we go.
Yeah, yeah. Not to poke a hole in anything, but
You know,
I think it's a cool theory.
yeah.
I like that theory. It stacks.
It's exactly everything
Stacks.
stacks.
Yeah. They all combine together. Ooh.
Mm.
wait,
Yeah.
so does that mean there's going to be like a Voltron thing of this eventually that we fight? I mean,
Yeah.
Well, no, I think the land itself, I think the land itself was already tainted and was causing the madness, and then they were using that like a focus for their control. You know what I mean?
honestly, I don't
Hmm.
think the land itself is corrupted. I think it was a situation where it was the beings were radiating that effect.
Okay.
I mean, that's me as a player. That's where my head is because we've seen no indication of like desiccated ground or desecrated, whatever word that is.
Yeah, just
Yep.
desecrated. Yeah.
Yep.
I feel you. I feel you. But I was like in my mind, like I was thinking like this is like a mental thing. So instead of like the desecration was like physical because of it was an aspect of those fucking baby shit things. I was thinking like this is another aspect, but instead of it's the silent killer. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
And that adds to the more dangerous sense. Like how far are you into it before you start losing it? I don't know, man. It was just how it is, man.
It
Oh
begs the
man.
question: is this even related to that? I mean,
Exactly. And probably it's just another fucking coincidence, or maybe there's an overall spider web of bullshit, man. We don't fucking know.
yeah, yeah. We were guided here for a reason.
It's always a fucking reason, man.
Maybe the temple wasn't the reason. We're gonna get to
Ooh.
the temple. It's gonna be empty. Quinn's gonna be pissed.
Ooh.
It's like, yo, what the fuck is this?
It's all conspiracy.
It's like, ah, Blur, you
Awesome.
lied.
Oh yeah, the gods are in on it too. Of
Yeah,
course
dude.
they are. Of course they
Exactly. Can't
are.
trust
Can't
those
trust it.
fucking.
Can't trust anybody.
As good old Dobby used to say, fuck the gods, man. Okay, fuck them. Okay, the bullshit.
We need like a pin board with all the lines connecting everything now.
Lies, man.
Where are you gonna keep it? In the bag of holding? You're just gonna pull it out.
That's not a bad idea. We can get like a
Exactly.
whiteboard that we could just rip out of the bag of holding,
Yeah.
draw another
Love
connection,
it.
put it back in.
There you go.
It's always gonna be campy, and he's gonna be like, "Give me the bag of holding. Put some notes."
Oh yeah, you keep it right in your bag and just like rip it out.
Yeah.
Love it. Okay, so
Yeah.
I wanted to ask Tick actually because even if it wasn't this way exactly, we did think that the rage was a trigger for most of the episode. And I wanted to know like what it was like playing Barbarian, where you're uh, where you have to kind of avoid or judge the risk of your primary ability? Like, how did that affect your play?
Um, as it was more fun to poke the bear, so to speak. But that's me speaking. As far as the character, I mean, that's if the situation calls for fighting, that's what he's going to do. I mean, it's going to calculate into it, but I mean, there's a lot of good from, kind of engaging those mechanics. And to be honest, the good outweighs the bad right now. So, I mean, that was the rationale. Because, I mean, just being able to soak up that much potential damage as well as dish it right back and keep people, away from some of the squishier. If I have to go a turn or two under the effect of something, I mean, I still have the potential of doing what I'm supposed to as far as a group role. So, like I said, it was worth the risk.
Smart.
Just resulted in a dead doggy at one point. So, again, sorry about that. Sorry to, Oriana.
I don't accept your apologies.
Oh, well.
Damn, cold. Cory's like, it was worth your lives.
Well, I never said that, but I mean, I'm in a group with how many spellcasters? They have ways to stop me. I'm confident of that. But no one did, except for Oriana. And then
didn't. Yeah.
Yeah. But
oh well, live, learn, die.
Sometimes as a party, I have to put my faith in them equally as they have to put their faith in me.
Sad. Oh, maybe she'll be fine. We won't know. She might be fine. She might be fine, guys.
Yeah.
Anyway, okay, so I actually did have a question about Campion too, because something that I noticed the episode before and then this episode was Campion like making his little notes being like, theory, mind control alien lasers. And then he's got like little adrenaline shots and field generators, and made me wonder, like, what's the process for playing a steampunk character like in this fantasy setting? Like, how do you go about translating like all this magic stuff?
I think it's such a cool challenge, dude. Because like, I mean, like, yeah, you could be like an artificer and like flavor them how you will, most I feel like it's more of the idea is like an enchanter, kind of enchant objects and then they perform the magic. But I wanted to be where like Campion full on science, bro, man. Okay, Junior Bill Nye the Science Guy. He's got to get shit done with the science. So it's always kind of like what's a cool invention with like a practical version of of a spell, fairy fire. It's like, oh yeah, it's like a phosphorus little grenade thing, it springs glitter on you, and then now you got fucking glitter that absorbs fucking solar radiation, so you're constantly glowing and shit.
There you go. That's canon. You got
exactly.
Bombs
canon.
You got
glitter bombs.
Works.
Phosphorus.
Yeah, man. And then like the fucking anti-gravity disc thing, dude. I was like, yeah, man. Exactly. You just gotta be wild. You gotta have fun with it. Most of the shit though, I just come up with it off the spot. Yeah.
It is fun. It is fun to see Jake like twitch in the background. you're just like stringing random science words together.
He's like, God damn it, man, this is not how the science works. Jay, you're killing me. And I'm like, I don't give a fuck, Jake. I was like, I do that way. Okay, I'm fucking campy, bitch.
Fun times. Okay. Yeah, so let's go back to the battle bit. Talk to me. We've already discussed it a little bit, but talk to me more in general terms about that final battle, like with the golems, I think, because it was pretty complicated. You were fighting each other, you were fighting them, stuff was happening, you were hearing voices, you were suddenly scared of everything. Like, a lot was going on.
Yeah, it was like we were already pretty spent already. A lot of us used a lot of like our hit dice and our spell slots. We were going in like half cocked, man. Just because, like, I guess we were we were just doing things we weren't kind of like thinking. Like at least I wasn't thinking like, we like I was thinking like, oh yeah, we're just gonna get, we're just gonna get a fucking long rest. We're just gonna get a fucking long rest. It's like, oh yeah, no, there's no fucking long rest. And then situations were going. I was like, okay, cool, we could probably handle this. Then fucking Sinric goes balls to the wall. I'm like, okay, cool, 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 cool. But Oriana's coming in with the whole person, and then I'm like, okay, cool. So then we just gotta focus on one thing, and then we start attacking the other one. We gotta collectively start bringing that DPS in, and then I'm scared of everything. And I'm like, oh god, I really don't want to fucking kill somebody right now. So then I'm praying to the dice gods. Dice gods are giving me that little bump, and then I'm just shooting. I'm just shooting for dear life, man. Campy's having a panic attack, dude. He's just trying to survive, man. And then these creatures, like, they look like stone, but they're not stone. Like they're weird, kind of like alien creatures too. That like Campy is kind of intrigued about it, but then like it's like a life or death situation. So then he's got to first be like, oh, I gotta survive this shit, or I'm not gonna be able to look at examine this thing afterwards. It's priorities. It was great, man.
Picture Campion behind that pillar, like rolling to the side, just
Exactly.
shooting blindly, rolling back, rolling.
He just like runs to the pillar and he's like breathing. He's like,
Okay, oh my god, should I shoot the little girl, the little, or the droid one, or the man in armor, or the really big one? Okay.
And then he peeks out and then he starts like freaking out. It's like, oh, there's too many. Shoot the big one. And then
Honestly, if we didn't panic as a group in that fight, it would have been a much easier fight.
Well, yeah, but the thing is true. Just a lot of things fucking happened, and honestly, it could have been.
It could have been so much worse.
It could have been so much worse. I'm just happy that, like we came out like beaten, but we're not all fucking dead. That's the dream right there. At least there's a possibility of still saving the world.
Yeah.
You might still do it.
Maybe.
Maybe. Who knows?
I wonder if Asmodeus is going to be happy or angry to see Oriana again.
He's like, oh, my girl.
Probably annoyed. He's like, you again?
It's like, really,
just
you're back?
talked.
He's like, yo, give Papa a hug. You want cookies? I have cookies.
Sorry, that was not in the scheme of things, but it just popped into my head.
We'll probably find out.
I think that challenge definitely wasn't more so to challenge us physically, but more so like to challenge our mental capacity as far as working as a group.
Yeah, that's the whole thing for Serenity. Her first priority is for us to feel like we've earned every inch of where the fuck we are.
We definitely pooped the bed a little bit in the middle, at the beginning of that fight. But I think we did pull it together towards the end. I see you laughing over there, but it's fitting.
Serenity's just like collapsed.
I think we pulled it together, and we did end up having a little bit more synergy towards the end of the fight, especially with how Quinn and Perry were reacting, and even Baltaim taking more of a calculated stance as far as like, okay, do I go do this? Do I go do that? And just like, oh, flip a coin.
Yeah, did Baltaim even get hit?
No. I don't think he took any damage in that fight.
Oh, did he? Okay.
He did?
Okay.
But then again...
Yeah, it was clutch. It was mad clutch. Yeah.
So we definitely, we have room to improve as far as working as a group, especially if things go south.
Yeah.
But that's good. It means there's room for us to grow as a party going forward. Because it'd be kind of boring if we already worked like perfect together from day one.
The most important thing is that you be interesting, which you are. So don't worry about it. Remember, you're on TV.
You got to keep the audience intrigued, okay?
You do. Cool beans. Okay, so sorry, my cat was making noise. So, Oriana made a somewhat deadly mistake of trusting Cynric at inopportune moments. I must say that was extremely cinematic for her to be like, "I trust you," then you
I
just
trust
cut her
you.
down.
And it's like,
I can't say it was a mistake. I mean, I get where she was coming from when she did that because I mean, she's the squishy. You hide behind the meat shield. That's just like I mean that's what she does. But
can't
I
trust the
mean,
meat shield. Who can you trust?
Yeah,
and
right. When the meat shield's coming right at you.
I mean, it was just unfortunate.
Yeah. So is that gonna like fuck Cynric up?
Yeah.
I mean, I,
It's
I, I'm. I guess it depends on what effect I was under during that because I mean under the normal rage like I recognized what I did but I mean as far as what's happening I just know I'm being compelled to do something. um, how can I convey that to other people and what can I do to fix the situation would probably come first,
Mm-hmm.
which I mean I think the only thing I can do is carry her.
true.
Yeah.
I mean, but the thing is you already explained like the little bits of the fucking your experience on the island and shit, and
Yeah,
then we all know that this fucking thing was affecting us on a mental level. So it's like I don't think anyone would literally blame Sinric.
I mean,
Um,
it was even to the point on the way where it's like I was, even making the point to tell people it's like, look, maybe we should, periodically check in with each other. I
yeah,
mean,
exactly.
we need to focus on each other and, because there are weird things afoot. I mean, I
Afoot
know
at this
I'm
point.
susceptible. Perry was susceptible at that point. I mean, so probably wasn't the best decision tactically,
Mhm.
but it was a sound decision. Can't fault it.
Yeah, but understand. We handled that as best as we could because it's that like you got controlled, but it could have been three other fucking individuals that could have also
Mm-hmm.
been controlled. So I feel
Yeah.
like we managed that as well as we could.
I mean, could it have been? I mean, we really don't know. Honestly, it might have been something where, based on past experience, I was a more susceptible target,
Mhm.
whereas it could have been something that other people might have had an easier time resisting. So, I mean, it's hard to say.
I feel where you're coming from. It's just that's how cookie crumbles, man. D&D is
Yeah, exactly.
fucking.
Yeah, I wonder what would have happened if you had all failed your saves. Would you have just fought each other for like the whole episode?
They're the fucking giants are just
PvP.
like they're just chilling. They're like, yeah, it's no
Yeah,
Or
they're
some
just
popcorn.
watching you.
Yep.
Oh, they're eating like little pebbles or something. I don't know what golems eat.
I think it would be an
Oh.
interesting encounter. I'm not gonna lie. Yeah, yeah. Instead of popcorn, it's small pebbles.
Yeah. Okay, awesome. Yeah, so this is the second time Oriana's been down. Do you guys suspect she'll stay dead this time?
Third,
Oh, so
third,
third.
yeah,
Third time she's died? Okay.
yeah, yep.
Is this it? Third time's the charm?
But her DC got reset because of the water.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, things we gotta figure out though. There's always
Yeah.
We need to buy her some armor. I mean, seriously, a shield,
Just put
something.
her in plate. She won't be able to walk.
boom.
Stay in the cart. Don't move. Poke your head out and cast and get back in.
See, no, all we gotta do, we put her in plate armor and we put wheels at the bottom, and then we push her.
Oh my God. So funny.
It's like Campy. I was like, oh yeah, I had an idea about this. Yeah, it could totally work.
Oh,
Yeah.
Campy can build her like an exosuit. Like,
Yeah, there you go.
yeah,
Yo,
like a
man.
Jaeger.
Adam Greybone.
Greybone Mark II.
Amazing. Okay. Next episode, exosuit for Oriana. Oh no, he can bring her back like Inspector Gadget. Make her better. Sciencey.
Stupid. Oh,
Yeah.
dude.
If she doesn't have like helicopter head when she comes back, I mean,
Oh, she
no.
needs helicopter hands.
Yeah.
This is too much.
Oh, awesome. Okay, something to look forward to. We're gonna move on to our topic for today on the note of Oriana helicopter hands. Yeah. So our topic for today is feats. Yay!
Yeah.
The
Yay!
feats in the game, not like what you walk
Feats
on.
in the game. Not
Okay.
yeah, not feats of strength in real life. Just D&D feats. Although we could, if you got some feats you want to brag about, you can slip them in, subtly. Anyway, so first off, what is a feat? Explain it to me like I don't know.
I mean, I think you just said it as far as like a feat would almost be like I would describe as like a feat of strength that I mean a character can exhibit. I mean, a feat of strength wouldn't necessarily be limited to a one-time thing. I mean, it's basically an upgrade for a character.
I believe it is a boon, either earned or kind of, quote unquote given, I guess, if you were to like go with like variant human, or
Mhm.
like if you were to go with a class that gives you a feat or whatever. But yeah, it's something that I feel like your character has put time into to cultivate and has paid off into something that gives them the extra bit of edge.
It's like a cultivated skill.
Exactly, because especially
Sometimes just
when
weird thing. Yeah.
yeah, because especially when you're leveling up, and then you're like, it's either, oh, you could choose these two, fucking, which skill do you want to move up, or hey, you want to get a feat, hey, you know. So
Also
I feel
goes in to say, I mean, feats can be really powerful, but
oh yeah,
just, I mean, as a word to, everyone, they are optional. So
yes,
it's not at everyone's table,
yeah,
but,
man.
just something to consider as well.
Yeah. Actually, on that note, like, when would you pick a feat and when would you just take the stat boost? Like, what goes into that decision usually?
I
Dude, I mean,
mean,
it depends on what are you doing with stats? Like, are you rolling stats? Are you taking like basic array? Like, if so, then if basic array, I usually recommend like 8th level, and when you take your first feat, depending if you don't take like a race that gives you a feat, Um, but yeah, like if you're rolling for fucking, stats, and you get the ultimate trinity, dude, 18s and everything. Fuck trying to boost stats, man. You go full feet, full fucking feet, man.
I know
I'm
the
waiting. I'm
dream.
waiting for that opportunity when I'm just rolling 18 for the majority of my characters. I'm like, I'm having 5 feats, bro.
I mean,
All
it's a
feats.
balancing act because I mean ASIs are really powerful as well.
True.
Especially, I mean, I do feel they are more powerful given the class you play. I
Mm-hmm.
mean,
Mhm.
like I think ASIs are probably more powerful as far as like casters maxing out your key stat.
Exactly.
Unless you're playing more of a tank role, then maybe you look at Constitution instead of a feat. But I mean, even then, tough is really, really, good as a
Mhm.
feat compared to a +1 in con.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, you kind of have to weigh those choices because especially on a caster roll, that's
Mm-hmm.
you bump a key stat that's a +1 to your attack roll, to your saves,
Mm-hmm.
as well as your own spell save DC,
Mm-hmm.
which a lot of spells target that. So I mean that's something to consider as well.
Yeah, man. There's pros and cons, both sides of the fucking table. It just depends on like what you're trying to do with your character, man.
And then some feats are just broken. Like I mean, lucky.
Exactly. Exactly. Lucky.
I'm not gonna lie. I mean, combination of feats can be broken too. I
Oh
mean,
no. Yeah.
sorry.
What feats are broken, do you think, in your opinion?
Well, no, like combinations of feat. Like, I mean, even in this game, I run Polar Master with Sentinel, and that's just like an
Mhm.
incredibly dangerous combination because it can literally lock things down, and to a point where you're not even close to them to do that.
Yeah, but then it creates a whole new fucking like play style.
Mhm.
You're a barbarian, but you're a defensive kind of barbarian in a sense where you do damage, right? But you can it's fucking crowd control, man. Not a lot of barbarians like will like it the way in how you build it. Like most in the sense of people who do barbarians, it's like you're
Pure
focusing
damage,
pure fucking damage.
great
Crowd
weapon fighter.
control, exactly.
Yeah,
Crowd
yeah.
control is a secondhand fucking thought. Um, and so like you're just trying to kill as many, at one enemy at a time. But you can attack an enemy, hold an enemy off, dude. You can kind of get them focused on you. You choose the distance of interactions. And that saved us a lot of times, man.
I mean, like
You
I
know?
said, and it's the combination of feats. And I mean, you
Exactly.
even throw something like alert into the mix, depending on what class you play.
Uh,
Alert can be pretty awesome as far as, your ability to act first in an initiative. Because I mean, it gives what alert is +5 to initiative,
yeah.
and you
Oh,
can't be surprised.
dude, don't even get me on elven accuracy.
So
Yo,
yeah,
you build a hexblade warlock that's half elven and then have elven accuracy. Oh my god, man, you roll an advantage and how you build your warlock. You can roll, yeah, you can just literally roll 3 times and you're good.
yeah.
Yeah,
So I
it's
mean, there.
bonker.
So yeah, it's definitely stuff to think about. I think one of my favorite feats is actually one of the newer ones, and what is it like half what was it? It was the halfling racial feat, which allows you to extend your lucky out to another player if they roll a nat one.
Wait, bountiful luck?
I think that's what it was. And I mean
That's the one.
that's like venturing right on that same broken territory as lucky,
Mhm.
because it's
Well, it's
like,
kind
oh, I
of
don't like that roll, so re-roll.
it's been interesting too, because that's kind of like something the divination wizards can do.
Yeah,
I really like Gunner. Um,
Hmm.
because it's in a sense where like usually you would have to like dip levels into like fucking you would either have to go to like to artificer or like go into fighter, fucking Matthew Mercer, exactly, yeah. But
firearm
now you
proficiency,
can
stuff like
literally,
that.
exactly, you could literally be any fucking class and fucking pull out a gun.
Just be like, I brought a gun to this
I
sword
brought
fight.
a. It's like, yo, like my man's. Everyone's got a sword and shit, and then like and then you catch a guy off guard, and it's like, oh, you got a fucking dagger. Okay, boom. I got a flintlock, bitch. Dance. Uh,
That's what I need for my ranged weapon.
exactly.
That's fun.
All right, Campion, you're going to need to get on that. I mean, start crafting.
Just give everybody a gun. Okay, that's how you guys are gonna survive from now on. Every single one of you has a gun.
Gun crew.
But I
Gun
mean,
crew.
even going on feats, I think like one of the coolest things about feats is I've even said it before. I mean, ASIs can be just as powerful depending on the
Mhm.
situation.
Mm.
They're kind of boring. Whereas
Bro,
feats
dude.
allow you to add another level of kind of like interactivity and
Mhm.
another level of complexity and interest into the character you're building. So that's also something to consider as well. I mean, do you want to play that character that likes to start bar fights? I mean, pick up Cavern Brawler, because I mean now your fists are a D4
Mm.
and you can grapple as a bonus action on every
Exactly.
turn.
You don't have to be a fucking monk to fucking punch people in the fucking face now.
Yeah,
Well, I think they also you also depending on the class you can have unarmed fighting as well. I think that actually does the same fucking thing too, because it's now a new fighting style too, which is fucking cool. Versatility everywhere, man.
yeah, exactly.
Mhm.
I mean, things like Shield Master allowing you to interact more with your shield as far
Mm,
as like having a shield, because in all honesty, a shield is like one of the most boring things to do in
exactly.
D&D.
Unless you have like one of those dwarvish spike shields, and then like you just stab something in the face.
But even then, I
Staff
mean,
shield.
isn't that still technically considered an improvised weapon? So, I mean, you're still only doing like a D4.
Yeah.
Is it? Because that's
Yeah.
like a deliberate weapon, though.
Hmm.
Shields aren't weapons, they're armor in terms of D&D. So, and that's
Interesting.
kind of the point, though. I mean, so that Shield Master feat mechanically in the game allows you to have different interactions with something that would otherwise be
Mhm.
like literally considered a piece of armor for the sake of the game.
Hmm.
That is cool. So, what's the best feat? Is there one?
I mean, lucky is the one that generally applies the best across the board to anyone, and it's also probably the one that's the most banned at like table, because it's just too good in the way it's worded. Because I mean, you can fail a roll and then choose to roll again. I mean, so it's like, all right, you failed, so I'm gonna re-roll that. And I think that's kind of where the brokenness comes in.
Mm.
Again, this is something that divination wizards can do, though. Sort of.
Yeah, I mean, through their what was it, potence or portents?
Yeah,
Mhm.
portents.
Yeah,
Hmm.
yeah. But I mean, just to have like, every single person be able to do that though. I mean, it's like, oh, look, I rolled in that one, burn a luck point, and then
What
have
if you
it
had a
reset.
fully lucky party? That'd be interesting.
All right,
Everyone takes the luck feat.
you're level 5. Okay, you're going against a Tarask. That's how we're doing this. Let's see how your luck treats you now.
I think the coolest fucking feat out there right now is telekinetic. Cause now you can play a motherfucking Jedi. Okay? I'm pushing people. I'm punching people with my invisible fucking mage hand, man. Okay? That's the shit. That's all I need is a fucking like what's that fucking light sword shit.
A lightsaber.
No, but like the magic item.
Sun sword?
Sun sword.
Yeah.
All I need is a motherfucking sun sword, and I'm Obi-Wan fucking Kenobi. Okay?
I expect you to be in all combats going.
Oh yeah, you have to. Amazing.
Oh yes. Oh man. It's my next
All
character.
right, so we know what your next character is.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Feats are definitely interesting. I'll give you that. I mean, they take away from the boringness of just like getting stronger.
They do add some mechanical interest too, because it's like a new thing that's on your sheet that you can do in battle. It's not attack, run away, stealth.
Yeah.
That's why I think about feats anyway. So do you think there are good feats available for every class? Because I feel like there are some stock ones for certain classes. Like you always want like sharpshooter if you're a ranged weapon person.
I mean, there's good feats for every class.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just a matter of like how interesting they are, depending.
Don't even get me on like the races. They're like the ones that require like race requirements and shit. Yeah. Dude.
Yeah. I mean, like the bountiful luck. I mean, that's a great halfling feat.
Or fucking Smurfin magic.
Yeah. Oh yeah. The
What?
Vernelfbin or something like that.
Yeah, Smurfin. You gotta be a gnome. You gotta be deep gnome. You gotta be deep gnome. Not just gnome. Deep gnome. To use this shit.
Yep. Those are like the underground gnomes that live in the Underdark.
Exactly.
Yep.
Okay.
So you got a feat that lets you use like some of their magic stuff.
Yeah, like non-detection. I think blur,
secret no magic.
Yeah.
So kind of like how the Drow have like their innate abilities to do like fairy fire and stuff like that. Yeah, the Underdark gnomes have. I don't want to say the same thing, but
a similar thing.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah. So I mean it's definitely adds a layer of complexity, but things like resilient work across the board to all characters because that adds proficiency and saving throws to things that you're not, don't normally have in. So, I mean, if you have a character that's particularly weak in something, you can potentially boost that up. I mean, resilient con on something that is squishy, it's not necessarily a bad thing for con saves.
Oh yeah,
could work out.
Observant anytime you're playing like a wisdom
Yeah.
or like intelligence like base character. It's like the ultimate like extra little chef's kiss.
Everything.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Combine like, on a druid, combine like alert and observant together. Especially on
you've got
druid.
eyes in the back of your head.
Yeah, and eyes on the back of your head, plus you're probably going first in initiative as well.
Oh, or like if you're a monk, you're like monk Sherlock Holmes.
Yeah.
Huh. Interesting.
So I mean, there's a lot of cool feats, and there's definitely stuff for everyone.
Awesome. So do you guys think there are any feats that kind of go into the other end of the spectrum that are like not useful or underpowered, or you're not sure why they exist?
I mean, I could argue you could probably find like a use in a campaign for a feat, but I mean, it's one of those that might be a very niche role, but yeah, there's definitely feats that are better than others.
Yeah. Like fucking Piercer. I've never seen anyone take that fucking feat. Like ever.
What is that feat?
It's you can increase your dex and strength, and then once per is it turn or attack? Either turn or attack when you hit a creature, and if you're dealing piercing damage, you can if it misses, you can re-roll, and then if it's a crit, then you can like roll extra damage. But the thing is like, what if the creature is immune to piercing? It's like
you just wasted a free, bro.
Yeah.
It's
I mean,
useful if you have a rapier, I guess. Yeah.
Actually, I
or
think it's
maybe
only
if you're like a rogue or something, I mean,
true.
you could potentially find use for it. Potentially. Like, I mean, I know I said this earlier that, this particular feat was interesting, but
Mhm.
I do think it's lackluster, which would even be Shield Master, just because it allows you to shove with the shield. And I mean, okay, cool, I can shove with a shield on my turn, but I mean, it would be better to have like some layer of damage to be used against
Mhm.
it or a different interaction. But I
Oh, I
find that
thought you could use Shield Master to do shield damage.
it lets you
Maybe
do a
not remembering
shove.
that right. Oh, only a shove? You can't like hit somebody with the edge?
Mhm.
I don't think so. I mean, that still counts as like an improvised weapon, but it lets you shove targets away,
Yeah.
Mhm.
which isn't inherently the worst thing in the world. But
Yeah.
how many
Useful.
times is that effective? Especially at later levels when
Mhm.
things are, very easy to roll higher strength.
Can make that fucking DC in their sleep, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, you shove him in the chest, you're just like, oh, okay.
So while I find it interesting, it's also not that good.
No.
It's great for goblins because you can just like send them flying, but
Yeah, I
bullying
mean,
goblins.
Gotta eat those goblins.
exactly.
It's racist.
Barbecue them.
What the fuck? Those are sentient beings.
Oh, you said beat, not eat.
I said yeet. I said
Oh,
yeet.
well, I was thinking eat food. Sorry, my bad.
Oh my god. Tick eats goblins. You heard it here first.
I'm food
Warning.
orientated. I mean,
Oh, same. Um,
shouldn't
cool
be a
beans.
surprise at this point.
Okay, so what do you guys think?
We don't know until we try, right?
It probably tastes a little bit gamey, I would assume.
Like frog, you know.
Like
We
frog,
could have had a
yeah.
giant frog leg to eat, but that got ruined.
Next time, next giant frog. You'll get it. You'll get it. So
And
what do you
actually, I
guys
think that might be one of the most worthless feats is the chef feat, or what was culinarian
Yo, you
chef.
take that back, you bastard.
Just saying. I mean,
Oh.
it's like a
Okay,
waste of a
the
feat
gourmand
slot.
feat is man. I played a character who was a thief and he stole ingredients to cook with. Fucking Andor. Oh man, bro, that shit was banging.
That should be baked into like character design. You shouldn't need a feat for something like that.
True, but okay, yeah, true. But it's good. I mean, like they can't just like like make a new class. Oh yeah, you're the chef class. Here's your shit. Cool.
I play a
There was a
chef.
homebrew chef class actually.
I would play
That
a
was
chef.
really fun.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Smacking them in a giant fucking pan.
It was a spellcaster, and instead of like using spells, you made like cupcakes and desserts and stuff like that you used as spells. Your weapon was like a frying pan.
Crazy bastard.
Interesting. It seems kind of artificery. Anyway, I do
It
have to
really kinda
get like
was.
one more question.
Yes,
Sure.
yes.
Okay. So what do you guys think about like the way feats are structured in 5e? Like the way you get them, the way you put them in, like is that mechanically good?
If you're not a fighter, it's mechanically good. If it's a fighter, you're broken, and I don't want to deal with you.
Fires don't interact.
They
What
get
are you
like
gonna hate?
800 ASIs.
What you gonna fucking hate, bro? Come on, man.
I mean, they get like an ASI every other level,
Exactly.
or a feat.
It's fucking amazing.
You'd be like level 10, have 20 in all stats
Fucking
and like 6 feats.
fighters are the fucking the bread and butter of D&D. Get the fuck out of here. They're the first thing you play. They're the first thing you fucking play with D&D. It's like I don't should I be a fucking wizard or should I be one of those druids?
Be
The
a
Like, no,
sword people.
I'm a sword man. Call me Link. I got a shield. Yay.
That was the only reason I actually didn't play a fighter with this campaign, was because it's like everyone plays a fighter.
Everyone plays.
Oh, I had fun playing a fighter. I miss my fighter.
Yeah,
But
man.
She was a bow fighter.
to answer your question, yeah, I think it's mechanically fine the way they fit in. You just might have to finagle a little as far as story reasons, which isn't such a bad thing at lower levels because you can just say it's backstory. But at higher levels, it becomes a little bit harder to slot in feats versus ASIs.
Yeah, actually, how, like flavor wise, what's a good way to fit the feed in? Because any of the skill you've had to have developed, but it might look like it just kind of turned up if it's not actually in on screen, or you get what I'm saying.
I get what you're
Yeah,
saying.
yeah.
I think it's you think of it like your character has a secret interest, and while they've been adventuring, like on their own personal time, they've been going to Mr. Jangly Bottoms over in the alchemy district, learning the poisoner feat, secretly,
Mhm.
just to get that extra edge,
And see, I like to think
They've
of
been
it a
doing
little
an
bit
internship
differently.
in
I
the
mean,
evenings.
Exactly, dude.
so I like to think of it as it's something you're kind of doing naturally already, and so over the course of time, you just develop the skill better.
Mm.
It's just mechanically in D&D, it kind of works that it's like,
Mm.
there you go, you got the new mechanic. But if you're a rogue that always applies poisons, over time you're going to become better at applying poisons and developing poison. So it makes sense that you get poisoner. It's just kind of one of those things where it's like, okay, it's a switch flip as far as D&D, but that's kind of how I look at it. Like, you have a barbarian that swings around a giant weapon. Okay, by level 8 they might pick up great weapon fighter because, well, now they're used to swinging it around so much they're more familiar with it.
Okay, okay. Um, so do you think there are any like classes or particular character builds that like absolutely need feats to complete them? Or as opposed to other things where you can kind of just level up unadorned and be, does it just depend on like how complicated a character you want to play or
For me, day one, if I'm playing a monk, I'm getting mobile.
mm,
It's just like, yo, bro, you get the increased, movement speed, and like you don't want to stay in the thick of fucking combat when you're a monk. So it's like, boom, like even if you miss taking a hit, you can just dodge out of the fucking way, and keep fucking moving. Same thing with like, I'll like I could think about that with rogue too, but it just depends on what's going on.
Well, the difference for that is rogue, you can get, can't you like disengage as a bonus action
yeah.
Yeah,
depending on
yeah,
the spec of the rogue?
yeah.
Well, I say
I
spec,
think
but
you can
subclass.
always do that, isn't it?
Or like if you have
What's that called?
swashbuckler, like yeah, you can have roguish audacity. I think after you hit, then like you
Yeah.
can you can also tip off too. But yeah.
But as far as like being required, no, I don't think they're required.
Mm-mm.
They're definitely fun. They're definitely more fun than just like straight powering up a character.
Exactly. Because if it was required, then it's just another fucking thing you'd have to go into. Like, oh, I want to play a cleric, but like I gotta
Y-
get fucking warcaster,
Yeah, it's like,
just to
Mm.
get shit done. If I want that extra AC.
I mean, yeah, it's one of those where it's like, okay, yeah. I mean, I don't think anything is required as far
Mm.
as feat goes. So, I mean, after all, it's like I said, even going back to what I said earlier at the beginning, I mean, they're optional.
Yeah.
They're
Play
optional
it
for a reason.
play it your way.
Yeah,
Play
Yeah.
it how you like.
Yeah.
It's all
Exactly.
optional.
yeah, exactly.
We got all flavors in this bitch, man.
Mhm. Yeah, and it's one of the nice things about D&D. It's a very flexible
Mm.
system. A lot of room to play what you want in the way you want to. Yay. Okay, don't think we have time for another question, so we'll end on that. Thank you both so much for being on my little show again on Tuesday, just like every week. Make sure to tune in, audience. Make sure to tune in on Friday to see whether Orion is going to pull through this time. The fingers crossed. Then tune in next Tuesday for us to talk about whatever happens on Friday. And thank you so much for tuning in once again. Thank you to Sunbird and Lee Meows for our theme song and our logo. Thank you to Cory and Jay for coming on the show. And have a great night. Bye, guys.
Adios.